Let's talk about carryover funds.
Mm,
For the person who's not really familiar with all this, because it's starting to come up more. I see people are starting to talk about this a little bit more. Can you explain to us what are carryover funds and how would a parent or a taxpayer find this within their district?
yeah, so let's start off with how they find it. So every district on their district website should have a finance department. So typically there should be a tab for departments and then finance. And these reports are posted on the website. They have to be posted, all the financial reports. And ours, when you click on it, it will take you to the Arizona Department of Education's website, which um, that's pretty much it's the same report. So that's where it takes you to. So um, if you can't find it on your district website, you can go to the Arizona Department of Education and it's there. And schools have to report finances to the Department of Education. And so it's listed there, the annual budget, the prior budget. There's also the Auditor General website that lists our budgets, our spending, how much we're paying teachers, the number of students we have. So between the Arizona Department of Education and the Auditor General, every parent, every taxpayer can find that information on there, but it should be on schools' websites. Um, as far as MNO funds, so prior to COVID, and even prior to that, I don't remember what year, um, but carryover funds were capped, I believe, at 4%. Um, and at some point, the legislature decided to remove that cap and um, and allowed them to have, you know, whatever amount of carryover that they could carry over. And then when COVID hit and they got all the ESSER funds, uh, districts kind of were, well, most, I would say, including my own, were using the COVID money and kind of banking the money that they were getting from the state. Um, we have carried um, over 20, around like 23, 25 million annually. And we used to be as low as like 9 million. I think at some point there was like 6 million carryover. Um, but we've had over $20 million that we've carried over in M&O funds year over year, um, because the COVID money allowed us to do that. Well, the COVID money's gone, um, or it's been spent, and districts that haven't spent it had to pay it back. Um, and so now we come into the situation where we're we're at the highest level of funding we've ever had in the state for student funding. Um, we have um, declining enrollment. And so, anytime you have declining enrollment, that's going to impact your finances. Less students, less money coming in from state um, and local taxes. But this carryover just sits there and then you can just move it. And then it allows you to, the state laws allow you to um, transfer between M&O and capital. So if you are low on capital funds and let's say you want to, build a new building at a school, you can transfer funds from M&O to capital and be able to utilize that. Um, and so we've done that over the years to be able to, one of our high schools, we built a beautiful brand new building there um, to expand classrooms. And so they utilized, some of those funds. But and then there's also a levy that we can pass as board members that doesn't require a taxpayer vote. Um, School districts can pass a tax levy and it's just for adjacent ways. So if there's construction to parking or not parking, but like streets or like we just approved $2 million to reconstruct the way the parents come in from the street and how they drive through the parking lot and to drop their kiddos off. And so we approved a $2 million levy for that. Last year it was, I think, 1.5 million for something else at the other high school. And that doesn't require, as I said, taxpayer vote. So we have to be very careful when we do that. I agreed to approve it because the tax impact is so minimal, but because of the safety issue that our current state causes, it was worth to say, yes, let's fix it so that, it's safer for our students and our families. But yeah, so M&O funds can carry over unlimited, and they can just build this big bucket. And I think the last time I asked, our M&O carryover was around 20%.
Is that good or bad?
It's good, but what's not good is when you have that much money sitting in a bank account or in your account, and you go out for a bond and override and ask for more money. That's what bothers me. And so if we have money, yes, they say they want to keep it for a rainy day fund. Well, when, Higley is not known for passing bonds and overrides. Our taxpayers do not like it. And so the bond and override failed in 22, and then or 20, yeah, I believe it failed in 22, and then it failed again in 2024. And then they're going to go back out for another override in November. But when we're having to lay off staff and make changes, and talks, when there's talks about cutting programs for students, that I have a problem with, because when you cut programs, you lose students. They're going to go somewhere else. And so when we have this money sitting there, we need to be using it. And then there's also, cash funds that a lot of people don't consider. And there's like restricted funds where you can only use it for certain things. But there are some funds within those cash funds that can be moved over to M&O. For instance, we have 2 preschools that we charge families, and so the money that's accumulating in that account can be used for the state law says that can be moved to M&O. So there's different funds that can be used, but let's use funds that we currently have before we go out to the community and ask them for more money. You don't carry, I wouldn't, when you look at like personal finances, or as a business owner, when you look at your business account, like I wouldn't go get a business loan when I have, 25 million sitting in my account. Like, why would I do that? That doesn't make financial sense, because now I'm going to be paying interest on that loan. But when it comes to taxpayer money, it's easy to, to use other people's money than it is to use the money that you have.